In Indonesia, Tzu Chi volunteers help Alimatusakdiah renovate her home. Take a look at how old incineration plants in Taiwan are facing rectification and reformation. Selamat datang ke DaAi Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. In Indonesia, for 20 years, Alimatusakdiah's home experiences water leakage when there's rain. Upon learning about her situation, she volunteers help her renovate her house.
The wooden low-block structure was originally a place for safety from wind and rain, but the past 20 years, when there is rain, there'll be water leakages as it further damages the building.
Pertama kita datang meninjau. When
we first started visit her home, we noticed that whenever there is flooding, the water level reached 3 centimeters. Her living condition is very tough, and she even lives with 8 people that sleep and deal with the water leaks together whenever there's rain.
Meja gitu kan, biar gak banjir. Asal hujan dia kerjanya menggayung air buang.
In July this year, Tzu Chi volunteers started their plan to help the poor, rebuilding this house. Construction workers also joined in on the love, receiving minimum wage, giving materials and effort to rebuild a better home.
Sebetulnya kalau kita ngikuti pembuatan rumah ini tidak seperti.
Compared to the normal cost, this time we take lower wages. I saw their home and felt bad for them.
Kondisi rumah yang
I also brought the construction materials from my home in order to renovate their current house, to let them live in a stable and waterproof home.
Dan kita pun bantu tenaga supaya rumah ibu ini berdiri dan ibu ini tidak kebanjiran lagi.
Saya rasanya senang kali lah.
I feel very happy because of my house current situation. It is way better than before. There are no more water leakage or floods. I'm very appreciative and thankful. I'll help others in need in the future.
Using concrete, the home is now safe and steady. The family may finally live in a better environment, welcoming a better life. They no longer have to worry about the rainy days.
In Malaysia, a couple was in need of a new space because the wife had amputated her leg. Volunteers helped them move into a new home and also provided financial support.
This room, which is barely big enough to fit a single bed, is the home of Yap Woon and his wife.
My wife sleeps this way, her head and pillow over here, and the feet that way, while my head is over there and feet downwards, one in the front and one in the back, so to speak.
Yap Woon has been a taxi driver for 9 years now, but due to the pandemic's influence, he has been out of work for 4 months. And on top of his wife's amputation emergency, their life has suddenly been thrown into the depths of despair.
We were boiling water, and she accidentally stepped in the hot water.
The wife has diabetes and the injury infected her leg, so she needed emergency amputation. When the hospital staff found out she lived on the 4th floor, they knew she wasn't going to be able to return home. So they asked us Tzu Chi volunteers to help to find a better, more suited place for her.
After looking at many different places, volunteers finally found a home without stairs for the couple.
This is such a nice environment.
Besides the newly painted interior, Tzu Chi also installed a safety bar for Yi Yok-ying to help her move around the home with ease.
There is a small kitchen, and there is a safety bar here you can hold on to. This bar extends to the end.
We are moved by the support from Tzu Chi brothers and sisters. Thank you so much.
Leaving behind their cramped space, Yap Woon and his wife say hello to the new home and meet a neighbor. In the future, it is hoped the three of them can take care of one another.
In Indonesia, a volunteer, Ering Fabian, used to spend her time shopping for branded products. After becoming a DaAi mother, she is now seizing the time to share vegetarian food with the public.
After dicing more than 10 kinds of natural spices and heating them up, Ering Fabian is about to serve vegetarian curry jackfruit.
Oh, nggak sulit. Cuman bedanya ya kan kalau.
I don't think it's very difficult. We simply change the meat to tofu or mushroom. The taste is just as good as the meat dish. Residents who tasted the dish say that it is more delicious than meat dishes.
Indonesia city volunteers provide vegetarian food for community residents to order. Each volunteer is responsible for cooking one dish.
Jadi kalau dengan bervege,
Embracing vegetarianism is good for our health. So we need to encourage more people to adopt a vegetarian diet. This is also a way to protect our earth.
61-year-old Ering Fabian joined the ranks of DaAi mothers in 2013 because her grandchild attends Tzu Chi school. She used to spend time shopping, but she now seizes the time to share vegetarian meals with the public.
Is it true that after injecting insulin, one must continue to inject the same substance or else the illness will become severe? Follow a report as we find out the truth.
On the topic of controlling blood sugar, there are two ways to treat this: oral administration or injecting insulin. But many patients who suffer from diabetes reject the second method because they fear the constant injections for the rest of their lives. Is this really true?
Newly ill diabetic patients are recommended to inject insulin, no matter his blood sugar level. Actually, if they choose this path, after a month to 6 months, the patient will recover, therefore stopping the injection process.
Diabetes is caused by one's body rejecting insulin, resulting in a rise of blood sugar since the pancreas is too tired, as the produced insulin greatly decreases. Injecting insulin provides resting time for the pancreas, allowing it to recover to its original state.
When the patient received no effect from eating medicine and they decide to inject insulin, it's too late. Compared to newly diabetic patients, they recover slower.
Furthermore, diabetic patients who have weak pancreas functionality can only choose injecting insulin as a way to control blood sugar.
If the patient has weak pancreas functionality, the option for oral administration becomes little. At this stage, medicine that the patient consumes cannot be digested, and they must go for the injection of insulin.
A poor management of one's diabetic situation would bring more problems. The doctor reminds that though medicine control is important, a good eating habit and a steady sports routine would stop the degeneration of one's pancreas functionality.
In Taiwan, out of the 24 incineration plants, 19 of them are close to or have passed the 20-year mark, which means that 80% of them needs to be rectified and reformed. With the amount of daily rubbish increasing, how can we solve this issue? Follow a report as we learn more.
As the garbage trucks bring piles and piles of garbage, the landfill in Ering County has been overloaded. This is the Caotun landfill located in Nantou County. The rubbish has been piled up like a mountain. In the Douliu landfill, the excavators are piling up the garbage because there's not enough space anymore.
Since 2015, rubbish overload issues have been happening in counties without incinerators.
There are temporary rubbish being placed there for the past 3 to 4 years. A total of 30,000 tons of rubbish are being temporarily placed there.
These rubbish have no place to go. These counties without incinerators can only ask help from other counties.
Previously, there was a director who once said, if one is willing to help incinerate the garbage, he's willing to kneel down and ask for help. People are willing to be humble to the extent, but still others are still unwilling to help incinerate these rubbish.
This is Taichung Wenshan refuse incineration plant. It once helped incinerate the rubbish from Nantou County. However, since the garbage quantity has increased and the incinerator has also aged, therefore they too cannot help incinerate rubbish now.
Our incineration plant is aged. Its capabilities has also decreased. At present, the Wenshan refuse incineration plant can only process 600 tons of garbage. There's still the other 300 tons which cannot be processed, which is different from the 900 tons management we had planned before.
目前这一颗抓取的重量是3.42公吨。
Around 82% of rubbish will be incinerated completely. There will be 15% residue and 3% ash. 6.5 million tons of rubbish are being burned in Taiwan annually, producing 1 million tons of residue and 200,000 tons of ash.
Concrete and gelating agent are added into these ashes, where they are then sent back to the landfill to be buried. This has always been a problem. We've been processing it this way for the past 20 years and do not have a new way of processing it.
Most of the incineration plants in Taiwan has passed the 20 years limit. The Xindian refuse incineration plant has made changes to its processes, increasing its capabilities while reducing waste products and pollution.
Previously, we used active carbon to incinerate the rubbish. Now we use fiber filter, which destroys 99% of dioxins.
What makes Xindian refuse incineration plant stand out from the others is that after the changes, the deacidification technology has improved, which can destroy the toxic dioxins, greatly reducing the ash produced.
Other incineration plants use slag lime. However, here we use baking soda. It is much efficient in deacidification and can reduce the amount of ash produced.
Most of the incinerators in Taiwan are considered old-aged. Among the 24 incinerators in Taiwan, 15 of them is over 20 years, and 4 of them are the year short of being 20 years.
Most incineration plants overseas are demolished and rebuilt. Only a few will be like Taiwan, where we rectify and reform.
If the size of the incinerator is not expanded during the reforming process, there will not be much change, because the size of the incinerator has not changed and its capabilities remain the same.
The rubbish being incinerated includes domestic and factory waste. Currently, the incineration plants process about 6.5 million tons of garbage. But in fact, these incinerators can process around 6.9 million, or maybe about 6.8 million tons of garbage, so there's still space for them to process.
As more incineration plants are being shut down for ratification and reformation, the rubbish war is definitely inevitable.
The EPA did not handle the situation properly, which caused our accumulated garbage to increase from 80,000 tons in 2017 to 370,000 tons in 2019. According to the Waste Disposal Act, rubbish disposal is the responsibility of the county government.
The responsibility must be placed at a higher level, rather than asking the county government to settle it by themselves. The central government can make the adjustments, but it also depends if the county government is willing to cooperate. The local government has to do the public relations too. The parliament members will request the amount of garbage need to be processed, and the director cannot decline the request too.
We went around a full circle on this issue. These counties without incineration plants must seek assistance from other counties. And for those incineration plants facing reformation, will need to pack their garbage first.
We'll sort out and pack this garbage. It will be stored temporarily when the incineration plant is being rectified and reformed. After everything is completed, we will then send all this packaged garbage to the incineration plant to be processed.
If we do not process these rubbish today, more will be accumulated on the following days. The rubbish will not disappear by themselves. We must all find a way to convert this rubbish into reusable energy resources.
In Tamsui, New Taipei City, Zhengde Recycling Education Station was established in 2002. Students from nearby schools also come to the recycling station to help sort recyclables and learn more about environmental protection.
I'll bring the recyclables in the classroom to the recycling station.
I usually sort the recyclables in classroom. During our cleanup time, I will bring them to the designated place.
After we set up this recycling station, students from Tamkang University come here to sort recyclables. Students from Zhengde Junior High School also do sorting here.
来做这个分类。
我们
When 7th graders come to our school, we will arrange for them to do recycling at the recycling station for a course. We need to nurture them when they are young so they can influence more people when they grow up.
Recycling education stations are important because you need to pass on our recycling concept to the next generation. They need to have recycling concept when they are little. Recycling is important and they need to be taught while they are young.
I will come back once a week. Yes, usually in the classroom, the teacher will ask me to check if people have littered or if they've misplaced the recyclables.
We have become more environmentally aware. At home after eating, I'll wash the meal box and recycle it. I'll remove the plastic label of the bottle and separate its cap before flattening and recycling it. This way, global warming won't worsen.
I think doing recycling will allow us to understand how recycling station is operated and how hard the volunteers work. There is only one Earth. We need to learn to cherish it.
If we do not teach children about recycling, they'll think the resources come easily and they can throw them away. They do not know these are resources. Throwing them away is wasting them.
你知道，把它丢掉都是浪费。
我是觉得他们来这边真的是很有智。
I think when recycling volunteers come here, they can nurture their wisdom and learn the master's teachings. They also reduce the amount of garbage and protect the earth. I think this is truly cultivating both blessing and wisdom.
我是觉得真的是福慧啦，福慧两足尊，福慧双修啦。
Global warming is so severe, and it is the result of human civilization. Tzu Chi's recycling station is very helpful to the school. The schools and communities, it is a great classroom that teaches about recycling.
In 2011, a space near the Taoyuan Jingsi Hall was used as a recycling station. In 2017, this place could no longer be used. She volunteer Chen Yanqing went through much difficulties and found a vacation house in the mountain to turn it into a recycling station.
In January of this year, the 330 square meter Fuji recycling station has been inaugurated. The process of setting up this recycling station has been challenging.
Back then, my husband and I drove around in the neighborhood. When we saw posts of places for rent or sale, we made phone calls to inquire about it.
They even checked the land sale post on the internet. Everything seemed to be predestined.
This is the top of the mountain. From here, you can see the entire Taoyuan city.
Standing on the mountaintop, one can see the entire city. 1 kilometer from the mountain foot, on Futou Mountain, this is a treasure land surrounded by trees.
Chichi brothers have made the iron door. But then, when we walked in here, we saw the sunshine shade and a container house. There is also a cement floor. The landlord has built the house for holiday use. The sofa was here when we first came to take a look at the place.
Everything in and out of the house can be used. The volunteers spent more than 4 months persuading the landlord to sell the place.
Since we cannot take out a loan with land, we used my house to make a mortgage and bought this place. I do not regret it.
3 years ago, a month after the year-end trip of the city humanity culture staff, the recycling station in Taiwan Jingsi Hall had closed down.
We simply used poles to support it. Then we built a tent. It leaked on rainy days, but then we had to wear raincoats to do recycling.
The volunteers who were in their 70s and 80s recalled the difficulties they went through when there were scarce resources.
Later, a nearby recycling station worked with this station because of urban renewal. The amount of recyclables increased tremendously. The environment was affected.
I've been doing recycling for 30 years. It has not been easy, really. I do not know how many years I have been doing this. They space by one. If you do not do recycling, our next generation will be buried with garbage.
Recycling volunteers can do recycling here. They can do this for about 2 years. Before, everyone hand the bags here. There were bags for glass, iron, and plastics. They hand them one by one on two sides. That is how people use the space here.
The company's temporary warehouse was used. The senior volunteers' minds were calm temporarily.
Tzu Chi brothers had expertise in ironwork and carpentry. They made a shelf here so we can do recycling. People made use of the small place as recycling must be done.
I hope people will see this place as their home.
After overcoming much difficulties, this couple has found a place for the tens of seniors to do recycling. The recycling station has also served the purpose of geriatric care center for the senior volunteers.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Xing and her husband live in Dalian, and they walk around their local fruit markets in the evening to pick up plastic bags for recycling. In the beginning, many are not willing to give them. However, more than 100 vendors at the market are participating in the recycling mission now.
Every evening, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Xing and her husband, Ding Heshen, visit the fruit vendors at the local market.
Hello, are there more inside? Oh, wonderful.
They begin the task of looking for leftover plastic bag heads.
Every time this vendor would just put a new batch over the old ones and won't remove it. When he knew about the pollution it causes, he now saves them for us to pick up and recycle.
In 2019, the couple visited Taiwan as part of a volunteer camp activity, and the visit to the recycling station made a real impression on them. That same year in June, they decided to actualize environmental protection actions in their own local market. However, when they started, they ran into some obstacles. Thus, the two showed up every day to show their determination to the vendors, and now hundreds of vendors have joined their mission.
Look, when others see you doing this day in and day out, they'll be inspired by you and start doing it themselves. You will then start to influence others, and the reaction continues on until everyone will love and protect our earth.
If you don't pick them up, it will be thrown all over the place. That's not good for our environment, nor sanitary. I'm so grateful for the sisters who are here to help protect the planet and keep it clean.
With the recycling mission as a way of life, they are determined to influence more people to join the ranks of recycling volunteers.
期待每一个人都积极地参加环保，积极地爱地球。敬天爱地是我们慈济人的一份责任和使命。
Thank you for joining DaAi Headlines. See you next time.